Hey, Taurus. So we're talking about Uranus going into Gemini, which really personally impacts you because Uranus, yay, is leaving your sign. Although it brought you many good things, hopefully. There were a lot of highs, a few lows, but a lot of positive changes in your life and kind of maybe changes in you that were very positive. But it may have felt up and down at times because Uranus does that. It creates surprises, it creates uncertainty, maybe sometimes self-doubt, but sometimes after the self-doubt comes a lot of like self-confidence and trusting yourself. So you've just been on a huge journey with Uranus in your sign for 8-ish years. And now at the end of April, um, it will leave your sign forever, probably in your lifetime. You won't see it again, willing to bet. And it's moving to somewhere else will be far more comfortable. And the minute I started looking at your chart, sometimes this happens. I often get intuitive hits and ideas that just come in while I'm looking at a chart or talking to a person about their chart or to a group. And this one's obscure and maybe, I don't know if it'll be helpful. Depends on your generation, maybe, and what kind of media you consume. But before I go there, because you'll just feel really confused if I start there, um, just think about the last 8 years and the huge dramatic changes in your life. Like think of you 8 years ago versus you now. And just that alone says it all. How much you've changed, how much your life has changed 8 years ago versus today probably says it all. You're in a very different place, sometimes literally, but um, you've changed a lot and undergone um, dramatic changes in friendship, like just across the board. Anyway, and so many things are changing for you right now. So let's talk. I don't want to spend actually with you a lot of time on what has been, except just to remind you of your nature. You love comfort on the whole. Like this doesn't describe you every day of the week or every second of the day. Generally speaking, and this is a huge generalization, and other factors in your chart may mitigate this and make it not as strong in your personal life as it is for another Taurus. But generally speaking, Taurus loves comfort, stability, um, just everything. Like, let's just keep things the same for now. So if somebody comes at you with a suggestion, like, let's change this thing, you're the person in the room who's going to be like, well, let's take a step back. Let me sleep on this. You're the person who's really good at taking the pause. Yeah, this is an actual business strategy and personal strategy and relationships that a lot of people have to learn, and they struggle to learn it. You are the original creator of the pause because I've heard this. I know a lot of Taurus people, and I've heard this from every single one of them, and they do it with regularity where somebody comes in with a suggestion, usually a change or something the Taurus themselves did not come up with, and the Taurus, almost without skipping a beat, says, well, let me think about that. I'm going to sleep on it, or let's take a step back. Let's think about this. And there's a certain seemingly a resistance to change, although one of my best friends is a Taurus. I love her dearly, and she's very innovative and creative. So she's highly innovative, and she can follow suggestion, but she usually takes that pause, and then she might. And then she gets a wild hair every so often, and then she's a little more spontaneous, but that pause is there. I mean, it's just baked into her personality, even though she's highly innovative as an artist and can be spontaneous. She loves, and when she's spontaneous, it's so joyful for her because it's not her norm. She's like, woo. Whereas I'm always almost always spontaneous, or I can be so easily spontaneous. But we mesh as, best friends. So So what I'm saying here is I recognize that Tauruses aren't, just like any sign is not all one thing. The generalizations only hold so far. But there is this acknowledgement that Taurus represents comfort, surrounding oneself with comfortable, a comfortable setup. It could be comfortable family members, comfortable friends, making sure everybody gels, that you're the place where you are, especially your home and your land, is comfortable, aesthetically pleasing, can feel peaceful and harmonious. You have systems for how you set that up, and you just like to keep it that way. And it's actually a really good quality. Everyone has Taurus in their chart, and in some area of every person's life, they want and crave this comfort. So your sensibilities here are very valued by all of humanity, even if they're not a Taurus. So there's nothing wrong with being a Taurus at all. We all love Taurus. Taurus is generally loved as a sign. And even though you're stubborn, and I can attest to that because I know so many Tauruses, and I love them all. But stubborn is a piece of it. But it more has to do with that pause. And if somebody doesn't allow you that pause, then you're like, that's where the stubbornness comes in. So I just want to let's just remind, everyone of the Taurus general energy. So Uranus in your sign, even though I think it brought you some really good things and helped you really change some things that needed to be changed, it kind of came in with a breath of fresh air, even if it was uncomfortable at times. But now that Uranian energy is moving into what is called the second house in your chart, it governs certain things, but it's leaving you personally alone now. And you can kind of just rest a little bit and enjoy where you are. But where your energy is going to be going with gusto, and it's more comfortable here for you. Taurus, like Aries, does like to earn money and create stability. And so you've got this huge motivation, maybe driven by need in some cases for some of you, but this huge motivation and energy that you will be feeling if you don't feel it now, but I think a lot of you do, where you want to completely renovate something about how you earn money and deal with money, and also how you spend. And there's a lot of innovation energy here. There's a lot of pushing the frontiers, trying new things, using technology. I hate to keep saying, Uranus represents technology and electricity. Almost everybody on the planet, if not everybody on the planet, actually, I know not everybody on the planet, but most, cultures are highly driven by the growth in technology. And we're in a data, it's the age of, communication, data communication, and it's only quickening. And so, but you're jumping, both feet into this somehow, and driving some kind of second house, which is usually about how you earn money, how you spend money, your value system. So you may be renovating and overhauling and clarifying or becoming more open. So it's not creating a rigidity in your value system, like these are my hardcore values that will never change. That's actually not how you are, oddly, given that you are great with the pause. You are willing to be open-minded and listen to different sides, which may seem counter to what I just described as a Taurus, but here with values, you want to give everybody a chance to speak. You want to entertain and hear all the things. Even if you do have, a strong opinion and your own set values, you are open-minded here and you become increasingly so. And you're willing to pivot and shift and evolve here with your values, how you earn money, how you spend money. And also, even in the realm of close-knit relationships, you're willing to evolve and push the frontiers, Do something that seems a little, what's the word, the best word? I always struggle here. Rebellious isn't quite it, but you're willing to do unconventional things in relationships. So it could be an unconventional marriage somehow that you're entertaining or in, or if you're not dating currently, but you'd like to date, somebody very unconventional or an unconventional relationship could come zooming in, and you're going to go with it. There's this unconventional relationship. And it's very Venusian. Venus is closely linked to Uranus as it enters this new phase. So it could be a Taurus, another Taurus, two Tauruses is funny together if I think about it. Taurus, a Libra, could be a woman. It has very feminine energy here. So even if you're a woman, I mean, you could be, a gay woman, so that would fit. And Uranus actually governs like sexual fluidity and gender fluidity. Uranus of all the planets will govern that. And also it governs like unconventional kinds of ways of making money. So it can show like an astrologer. Uranus can show the astrologer. So some of you are like, I'm going to be a professional astrologer. But something about your way of making money and who you choose to be publicly to make money could be unconventional and pushing the edges a little bit. And you're willing to, allergies are killing me right now. I'm so sorry. But so there could be something unconventional about a business idea or a company you choose to work for, or something about the way you earn, maybe the way you spend. You can just think independent, unconventional, new, pushing the frontier. And you may, during this new 7 to 8 year era, you may do lots of pivots here and experiment with pushing at the edges and with doing new unconventional things. And this will be maybe in your relationships, but also in in your value systems. You may, if you're already progressive, let's say, you may become far more progressive than you ever thought you would be. Uranus usually shows progressiveness and not conservatism. So, but it can even show somebody getting a little too like conspiracy theory-ish, like, so sometimes Uranus can govern somebody just going way out into conspiracy theories. So I don't know if that describes you. Taurus still is like taking the pause on things, but they do like to hear all the things. And some Taurus people may go down a wormhole and get a little out there. And sometimes conspiracy theories bizarrely become truth. Like it's like, oh, that wasn't a conspiracy theory. That was actually true. So you never know. But I think the energy here will be fresh and exciting and different and better for you. And your patron planet is right there with it. So that you have like this built-in inherent enthusiasm for where you're headed and you're liking it. But it will feel uncertain, which Taurus isn't necessarily like, but you have a certain kind of genius for this area of your chart right now. So appreciate that. Know that you have the wind at your back, so to speak, in this area. And you may already have some glimmers of what it is. And, just go for it and just be a little bit thankful that Uranus energy is leaving you personally alone, and it's moving into area where you can grapple with it and deal with it in a way that feels more comfortable to you. Now, the world is still a wacky, scary place right now. I mean, arguably, I think all of us see it. That's still going on. But, I just want to acknowledge it. Some of you, like I'm talking to a wide audience here. I know some of my clients live in scary places and are subject to scary things right now. I just want to acknowledge that. Still and yet, you're an individual with your own passions, your own loves, your family, the people you love. even if it's wartime where you are and you feel an immediate threat, you're still a human being who craves love and connection, and you have a dream. Somewhere inside of you, even amidst chaos and darkness, you have a dream, and that seed of love is in your heart. So let's hang on to that. Even amidst all the craziness that's going on right now, I just want to acknowledge the craziness, but you're still a human being with your own drives, your own human needs. And I just want to honor that right now. All right, take care.